Joining us, you're watching NTV at 1. My name is Zainab Ismail. Now, 4 cabinet secretaries and several principal secretaries have denied an alleged plot to assassinate Deputy President William Ruto. The senior government officials were summoned at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations earlier today over the allegations say they have been holding meetings in the interest of people from Mount Kenya region. Seth Olale was at the DCI headquarters and gives us the latest twist in the divided house of Jubilee. Seth.
Thank you so much, Zainab. The cabinet secretaries are Peter Muna, who's the cabinet secretary for trade, as well as Cecily Kariuki, the cabinet secretary for health, and also Jomo Sheru, who is the ICT CS. They were today morning summoned to appear at the DCI headquarters along Kiambu Road. And according to them, they were summoned through a text message that was sent to them by a detective that was Sunday evening to appear. And this is all about a letter that actually was allegedly written on 14th May 2019. But even before we go to the details, this is what the CSs had to say about their summoning at the DCI headquarters earlier today. Well, we are going to just have that listen in from the CS for Trade, Peter Muna, who has denied any involvement in against plotting allegations of plotting assassination attempt towards the Deputy President William Ruto, and the 3 CSs who, like I mentioned earlier on, appeared at the DCI headquarters. And it is alleged that they held a meeting on 14th May, and the agenda of this particular meeting was to assassinate the Deputy President. The 3 CSs have termed those allegations as very serious and misleading, but as I promised you earlier on, this is what the 3 CSs led by Peter Muna, the CS for Trade, had to say about their summoning at the DCI earlier today.
Of course, these are very, very, very serious allegations. Very serious allegations, especially coming from the person of the stature of the Deputy President, occupying an extremely powerful and important office in this land. I would expect somebody in that office to do proper investigation. There are machineries to do that before making unsubstantiated and wild allegations of that nature. I think it's irresponsible, unfair, and it intended to portray us in a very bad light so that we look like criminals who meet to plot criminal activities against him. And it's also intended to injure our reputation as law-abiding citizens of this country. So we are waiting for the DCI to conclude the investigations, and then we can be able to make a decision on any other further action we may want to take, either individually or collectively.
Peter Muna, the Cabinet Secretary for Trade, denying such allegations. And like I said earlier, this involves around a letter that was allegedly drafted by a cabinet secretary on the 14th May 2019 about a meeting held involving 4 ministers or cabinet secretary. We're talking about the CS for Trade, the CS for Health, CS for ICT, as well as CS for Transport, and the 4 cabinet secretaries alongside other principal secretaries and CECs also involved in this particular meeting. These are just allegations, but details about these particular serious allegations that have been brought up by the DCI, we will be actually airing them on our subsequent bulletins. Zainab.
All right, Seth Olale, then of course we'll be getting more details from him later on in our subsequent bulletins, like he says. And onto education matters now. Grade 3 learners will be among candidates who will be sitting for the national examinations at the end of the year. The grade 3 learners will be assessed from the 16th to the 20th of September, and the results will be released in October. On the other hand, the government has enhanced measures aiming at sealing off minor loopholes that could lead to examination malpractice. KCPE candidates will begin their exams from the 29th of October to the 31st of October, while KCSE candidates will sit in for the exams from the 21st of October to the 27th of November.
Kenya National Examination Council has developed a registration platform, assessment tools and guidelines. And we are in the process of identifying and enrolling grade 3 learners so that we get the number, and we are going to work together with the curriculum support officers who will be able to see that it is done at the right time and marked, and then all what we need ourselves is to get the grades to allow us to analyze and see where the challenges are and give feedback.
This year, my people, not just the Northerners, but everybody else, just cover the syllabus. Pole pole. Don't waste time. What are you revising? Because there's this notion that we have finished the syllabus in February. Hiyo ndio ujinga ya mwisho. Because the exam covers the whole syllabus. Since we don't want the child to get 100%, we want the child to get 60%. Cover the syllabus. According to the child's intelligence, he will give you what he has. He or she will give you what he has. And then you can be sure there will be many intelligent children coming from the north.
Well, to some tragic news now, and the body of a 16-year-old Form 1 girl was recovered on Sunday in a river in Mitoni village, Turi ward in Molo. According to residents, the young lady drowned on Saturday following a heavy downpour.
Mood engulfed Mitoni village following the terrible incident. The 16-year-old girl reportedly drowned in a river. One of the residents said the girl fell into the river as she tried to cross the river, which was overflowing following a heavy downpour.
Hii daraja imeshikanisha Giteru Farm na Mitoni, na tunapitia shida kubwa kwa hii daraja. Kama jana kuna msichana alianguka kwa hii daraja, walikuwa wawili, akadrasa akaanguka kwa hii daraja. Sasa tukasikia nduru kutoka, tukatafuta mtoto mpaka usiku, hatukumpata, tulimwamkia kumpata asubuhi.
The girl was injured in the process and rushed to Elbagon, where she continues to receive treatment. The body of the deceased was taken to Molo Hospital mortuary.
Hii barabara kutoka Yundo hata hatuoni nini maana yake, kwa sababu hii barabara imekuwa ya kuua tu. Tunataka barabara na tunataka tujue hii barabara ni ya nani. MC anasema ni ya mbunge na ya mbunge anasema ni ya governor.
The residents are now calling on the county government to ensure that the bridge is repaired. Mary Beffin, NTV.
Now back to education matters, and tension is high at Uriri High School after students set a dormitory on fire after allegedly being denied the opportunity to watch the national team Harambee Stars Africa Cup of Nations opening game against Algeria. The students were forced to spend the night out in the cold after the fire broke out. Now, parents of the school, however, say the fire was as a result of an escalation of indiscipline cases and conflict between the students and the teachers. The parents accuse the school's administration of corruption in the admission of students into the school. The school administration did not comment on the incident. However, the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Professor George Magoha, has warned that stern action will be taken against teachers who fail to stop such incidents from happening.
Ambayo inaweza beba hata watoto over 300 imechomeka, na saa hii hatuna habari kamili. Ni kama walimu wanajua chenye inatendeka na wanatuficha kama wazazi.
It's failed to understand what's happening, both to the administration and to the students themselves. Because wangechukua action watuambie wazazi kati hii na hii ndio ilifanyika, ama suspect ni huyu ama ni huyu. And so we have not had anything as per that.
Being a manager has a price. So I've said this from the bottom. It is not enough to be reporting that, oh, this house has got burned. If it is in your jurisdiction, it means you have failed. Because as a regional commander, how frequent do you move around? Bailey has said we have enough people to be going to every school every 14 days. Could there be that? And you can be sure the schools I went to, I asked, Mliona hapa mtu siku gani? Unasikia? And I will keep on doing that. It's not because I expect you to be everywhere, but I want you to get out of here. Go out. If we are going to be defeated, we should be defeated in the field. Are we together? That's what I'm pleading with you to do. I'm saying this Bailey because they are here. Most of them have done very well. But for me, even one building being burnt, when we don't have enough money to construct others, is as painful as you can consider.
Well, most public schools in Kaloleni sub-county are at a risk of their land being grabbed as they do not have land registration documents. This is according to Kaloleni Member of Parliament Paul Katana. Katana now wants the National Lands Commission and the Department of Registry to intervene and allocate the titles. Kidzini Primary School head teacher Samuel Katiskali complained that the school has been in a tussle for the last 7 years over ownership of the land, claiming that the grabbers have been causing them sleepless nights.
Ninaomba walimu wakuu wote wa shule za msingi na shule za upili Kaloleni. Tayari nimewasiliana nao waweze kutoa ripoti zao za shule ili tuzipeleke kwa tume ya ardhi ziweze kupimiwa ardhi zao na waweze kupata hati miliki. Kwa sababu hiyo ndio itakuwa njia pekee yake kuzuia unyakuzi. Na ni jambo la kusikitisha kuona kwamba watu wanavamia ardhi za shule.
Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko and Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria have launched what they call Team Wanjiku. According to Sonko and Kuria, Team Wanjiku will go head-to-head with the two Jubilee Party factions, Keleweke and Tanga Tanga. Speaking at the Ruiru Stadium flanked by other politicians and religious leaders, the governor noted that politicians were too focused on 2022 politics and have forgotten about the people they ought to be serving. The politicians say Team Wanjiku will advance the interests of the poor and less fortunate in the society and improve lives.
Wanjiku Kenya mzima wako na kura 80%. Matajiri ni 20% peke yake. Kwa hivyo sisi tunataka uongozi. Na sisemi ati napiga matajiri. Watu wengi sana wako na pesa hii Kenya. Viongozi wengi wako na pesa hii Kenya. Lakini wengi wao wanafikiria matumbo yao na watoto yao na familia zao. Sisi tutaunganisha pia matajiri na viongozi ambao wako na maono kama yetu. Tuhakikishe vile tutakomboa Wanjiku.
Now, the county government of Bungoma has embarked on training local farmers on avocado farming as a means of boosting their income. This happens in the wake of increased demand for the fruit, which is gaining traction globally. Over 200 farmers received the training on how to supplement their income and diversify from maize to sugarcane, whose earnings have been shrinking in recent years. Director of Agriculture in the county, Onesmus Makhanu, said the training will also focus on how to add value to the avocado in order to attract competitive prices on the global market.
Tumeona soko ya nje inafaa kwa vile mwaka jana tuliona Kenya walipata mapato 10.8 billion kutoka kwa avocado, na kama watu wa Bungoma tukiingilia hapo italeta pesa, ifukuze umaskini, na tunawahimiza tukianza kuanzia mwezi ujao tuwe pamoja ili avocado iwe muhimu kama mmea katika kaunti yetu.
One of the things tunataka kuhakikishia ni kwamba kuna soko haikosekani. Soko iko hapa nchini, soko iko region, EPZ region, na soko iko nchi za ng'ambo.
A new political party fronted by a section of politicians from central Kenya has been registered. The party, Civic Renewal Party of Kenya, according to its interim officials, say the registration of the new party is a protest against Jubilee and other parties in the region, which they accuse of dictatorship and political con games. The political outfit also has the hallmarks of Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Iria as the man behind the scenes. The interim officials say they will start recruitment in a month's time, when they will also launch the party's manifesto. The leadership of the party also says it will focus on empowering the youth.
We are not going to subscribe to political conmanship of trying to convince Kenyans within 2 months or 3 months before the elections, because we don't want to be subjected to scrutiny as a party. So we shall be out there for a recruitment drive which is going to take place in a month's time. We shall be out there and we will tell the Kenyans, and we shall sell our manifestos to Kenyans, and we will have a whole long period of 3 years that we'll be trying to tell Kenyans why they should be members and why they should participate with us in building democracy of this nation.
We are still stuck as a country and citizen to politics of personality cult. We have opened and registered this party with intentions of bringing change in this country. As you are aware, it has been culture in this country to form political parties 2 months to general elections for purposes they know best.
Do you remember the story of Duncan Mwenje and Sebastian Babu, who were abandoned in the city by their paternal uncle? Well, that story had reached benefactors who have come to their rescue. NTV aired their story a week ago about the 2 young brothers who live in a school without proper food and clothing. The boys perform well in school, with Duncan, who is 16 and the oldest in his class, always ahead of the rest. A team from Manje Leather Products, a company that deals with the making of leather shoes, visited the school to assist the 2 boys. The farm's proprietor has pledged to educate the brothers until they complete their secondary education and provide shoes throughout the period.
I feel good. I really thank Manje Leather for giving us these shoes, and also I thank NTV for the support.
Thank you to Manje Leather for providing these shoes for us, and it could not be them, we couldn't get, and thanking NTV for all they have done for us.
When I saw Duncan and the brother do not have shoes, they are orphans, then we said, let's go and see and help in a small way.
We saw this story about Duncan, and it really touched us because he seemed so passionate about his education and all the challenges he's facing. It broke our heart to see that he needs so much help. So we decided to step in the way that we could, because our company, Manje Leather, deals in leather products.
And a very good ending there. We wish them all the best, the 2 young brothers, in their education and their future as well. Now, traditional dancers from Kiambu County have appealed for support from the county government in order to preserve their dying trade. Speaking during a traditional dance competition bringing together dance groups from the county, dancers accused the county government of failing to support them, yet their dancers play a key role in entertainment during national celebrations. The groups also want the government to help them construct a special hall where they will be running their activities.
Tumekuwa tukifinyiliwa, tumekuwa sisi kama watu, tumekuwa tukitumiwa hivyo tu just for the sake of kutumiwa. Kusema ukweli, hakuna mtu anawashughulikia. Mara nyingi wanasikia kuna mkutano ya siasa, wanaingia. Mara nyingi wanaachwa kwa uwanja, hata hakuna mtu anawapatia kitu kama fare. Kwa hivyo nikaona ni vizuri, kwa sababu county ni kama haina shughuli na hawa watu, mimi nianze mpangilio ya kuwa promote.
Well, as the country seeks to solve the housing problems, more firms are investing in building affordable houses. One such firm held a groundbreaking ceremony to construct a modern residential apartment block along the Wayaki Way, with construction set for next month. According to the Oyster Properties Limited, the block will hold 108 housing units. The project is a joint venture between landowner Tabitha Ringera and Oyster Properties Limited. Well, in other stories making headlines in the region, Sudan's army rulers on Sunday appealed to the African Union and Ethiopia to unify their efforts in outlining a blueprint for a political transition in the crisis-hit country. The generals, who seized power after ousting President Omar al-Bashir in April, expressed reservations about an Ethiopian proposal that, according to protest leaders, calls for a civilian majority ruling body. Ethiopia and the African Union have stepped up diplomatic efforts to resolve the crisis in Sudan, which has been torn by tensions between the protest leaders and generals. The crisis was escalated by the June 3rd bloody dispersal of a long-running protest camp outside the army headquarters in Khartoum on Saturday. Leaders of the umbrella protest movement, the Alliance for Freedom and Change, said they accepted the creation of a civilian majority governing body for a political transition in Sudan as proposed by Addis Ababa. The Ethiopian Compromise Blueprint suggests the creation of an 15-member governing body, including 8 civilians and 7 members of the military.
We welcomed all those initiatives, and we asked them to wait in order to give them the joint initiative from Ethiopia and the African Union a chance. We believe that any initiative, wherever it may originate from, must be placed under the authority of the African Union.
Now, Mauritania's Electoral Commission has declared the ruling party candidate Mohamed Ould Ghazouani as the winner of the presidential election with 52% of the vote. Ghazouani beat main opposition opponents Biram Ould Da Ould Abeid, who garnered 18.58% of the vote cast, while Sidi Mohamed Ould Boubacar came third with 17.87% of the votes cast. According to the official figures from Saturday's polls, former Prime Minister Boubacar, addressing a news conference along with 3 other candidates, alleged multiple irregularities that eliminated any credibility in the election. He has threatened to go to court to contest the results of the elections. All right, and away from that, let's now take a look at stories making headlines in the world of sports. And Harambee Stars started their Africa Cup of Nations Group C campaign on a negative note after losing 2-0 to Algeria at the 30th June Stadium in Cairo on Saturday night. Kenya will next take on Tanzania on Thursday in their second match.
ready for this? Will we get a thriller?
National football team Harambee Stars went down 2-0 at the hands of Algeria in their Africa Cup of Nations group match.
Generally, they were just better. They got into the game more than us quickly. And I think especially in the first half, they were more better than us. But in the second half, we tried to relax more, play the game, and it was much better in the second half. So we built from there, and we continue working.
In today's games, Ivory Coast will play South Africa in Group D. Tunisia tackle Angola in...
A good fight, but of course we wish them all the best. This is just the beginning. Now, Colombia enjoyed a 1-0 win over Paraguay to make it a clean sweep of victories in their Copa America group stage campaign, leaving Paraguay's hopes of staying in the tournament hanging by a thread. This as Argentina registered their first win in the tournament and the process qualifying for the quarters.
Brazil, Copa America.
Leopards chairman Dan Shikanda has vowed to help the club win its first Kenyan Premier League in more than 20 years. Shikanda, a former Ingwe player, garnered 456 votes, with second-placed Ben Musundi polling 165. The other candidate, Ronald Namai, came third with 72 votes, while outgoing chairman Dan Molo opted not to defend his seat. Leopards last won the league title in 1998. The 52-year-old won the league title 6 times during his days as a striker at Leopards and then with rival club Gor Mahia. All right, and with that story, we come to the end of our bulletin this hour. Many thanks for keeping us company. More news in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Zainab Ismail. Good afternoon.
This is NTV.